Hello everyone, and welcome to Spider as a Totem. There are so many different kinds of spiders with so many different kinds of adaptations that what I've chosen to do in this video is just focus on the most common variety, which is your solitary web spinner. So if you are a spider person and you identify with a different kind of spider, for example, one of the more predatory variety or the kind that hunt in packs, please feel free to contact me for a session, and then we can really get to the heart of what that particular spider means for you. In the meantime, most of these details will still be pertinent, just there would be an added level of interpretation knowing exactly which spider you feel connected to. So first off, spiders have 8 legs, most have 8 eyes. The body has that figure 8 shape, and this 8 is incredibly significant for spider people. So with the figure 8, immediately you're looking at a theme of balance. Spider people will often find that they are trying to find the happy medium between aggression and submission, between overexertion and rest, or giving too much versus giving too little, self-indulgence versus self-love. And what they will often try to do is think themselves into balance. But spider people are intended to really ignore the facts and not try to think things to death. Instead, they really are here to feel their way into balance. Spider people specialize in feeling. So no matter how logical something seems or how many facts there are out there, if you're a spider person and you're having a hard time coming back into balance in any way, start asking your heart what it feels like it should do, and that's where your answers are going to be. Now with the figure 8 also, there is a theme of constant cycle between life and death, between creation and destruction. You think about the hourglass shape, which is like the figure 8, where the sand runs out and then you turn it over and start all over again. And spider people's lives are filled with events where they have to learn to let something die in order that something new can be born. And this doesn't have to be a traumatic process. Maybe it is at the beginning while they're learning to do it. But they will frequently throughout their life have to recognize that something has really kind of outlived its usefulness and it's time to let it go so something new can happen. So, for example, maybe they built a business, they poured their whole life into it, they loved it, and now that business isn't satisfying them anymore. Rather than trying to beat it into submission or rejuvenate it when it just refuses to do so, it's time for them to sell the business to someone else and use that capital to start something new that makes them happy. Now, this 8 I've been talking about also shows up when you think about the numerological 8. 8 energy creates people who are, first and foremost, they are great manifestors and excellent money makers. But there tend to be issues of control throughout their life. These are people who do not want anybody telling them what to do, particularly where their careers are concerned. They are champion manifestors, as I mentioned. They know how to make money. They may not have a lot of it, but they don't need it. The money is always there when they want it. They don't have to amass a huge amount of physical security. They are oftentimes very forceful. 8 energy is very forceful. It does tend to be very aggressive. Again, there's this don't control me type thing happening. And with regard to careers, spider people need to just ignore naysayers. They know how to make money. They know how to do it in a way that is unique, oftentimes kind of zany. Spiders are unique, and so spider people will have unique creations. They are originators, not imitators. But again, they're not supposed to listen to anyone else with this regard. This is really important for them. Most spiders are actually nearsighted or blind, despite all the eyes. And for spider people, what this represents is, again, not trusting the facts, not trusting what they can see, not trusting systems They have to trust themselves. And this is particularly pertinent because spiders experience their whole world, since they don't see well, they experience their whole world through vibration, through the movement of air over the hair on their bodies, through the trembling in their webs. And this makes spider people very clairsentient. It means that the facts and what they can see physically will lead them astray, but their gut will always tell them the truth. And so they really need to pay attention to how they feel about a person, for example. If a person doesn't make them feel good, then there's a good reason. That person probably is not good for them. If they don't feel comfortable in a particular place or situation, those things are not good for them. They need to trust that feeling rather than the idea, well, but it doesn't make sense that I should feel that way. They need to listen to their guts. Spider people are emotional sponges. They will tend to absorb everybody else's stuff. So if they go to a party where everybody feels good, they'll feel good. If they go to a party where everybody is cranky and complaining, then they leave feeling drained and icky and exhausted. And they'll notice a lot of mood swings because they're sucking in emotions that aren't theirs. So if you're a spider person and you're noticing that you have a lot of mood swings and you can't figure out why, ladies in particular, it isn't just that time of the month, as we so often like to think. You may have absorbed a bunch of junk from other people. And so either A, you get to start recognizing who these toxic people are and maybe spending less time with them, or you need to work on your psychic shielding a little bit. Work on strengthening your aura so that other people's stuff can't get in. And you can contact somebody like me to teach you how to do that if you're not already aware. Now, another reason that spider people are so sensitive, if you look at the spider itself, which, oftentimes scares us, they actually are so fragile. They don't have an internal skeleton. They don't have a backbone. What they have is this external shell. And if you get past that, there's nothing to stop you from crushing the poor critter. So for spider people, they have a very hard exterior much of the time. They will do everything humanly possible to keep their secrets and to keep you out. They're very, very hard to really fathom. It's hard to know what's going on inside them, because if they ever became vulnerable enough that somebody could get past their defenses and maybe see who they really are inside, and if that person let them down, it would cause horrendous damage. Something would be very hard for the spider person to recover from. They don't forgive easily because when someone betrays them, they betray them utterly. So this is why, again, they're going to do everything they can to keep you out. All spiders make silk, even the predatory kind, the ones that don't sit in the web, they all make silk. And these webs are incredibly strong. In fact, spider silk is the strongest natural fiber in existence. And what this represents is being the spinner of your own web, your own fate. It also makes spider people very creative, by the way, being these web spinners, these ones who create these beautiful things. So how do you become the master of your fate? Well, you become aware of the thoughts you're sending out. That is what creates your web. Spiders will cross vast distances, like between two very distant trees, by sending out some spider silk into the breeze, and the breeze carries them away. They can leap these huge distances, but they have to have spun a good web. And so for you, the spider person, it is important for you to pay attention to what kind of web you're spinning. What kind of thoughts are you putting out there? Are you telling the universe that you expect it to support you? Or are you telling it that you don't expect to receive what you need? Positive thinking is really, really important, guys. I know it sounds kind of sappy, but it is the truest thing I know. Our thoughts really do create our reality. If you've ever heard the saying that worry is praying for what you don't want, it's so true. So, are you telling the universe, yes, I expect good things. I expect you to support me. I expect you to send me love and joy and health, fun, excitement. Or are you worrying and telling the universe that what you really expect is lack and misery and loneliness? If you are not happy with your life, it's because with your thoughts you have woven a web that is either keeping you stuck, or it is not a beautiful spiral. It is not something that draws in good to you. So again, look at the kind of web you're weaving, guys. That will really help you understand the quality of your thoughts. If life isn't good, your thoughts need some work. Now, spiders can regrow limbs that have been severed or damaged for whatever reason. And so for spider people, you may remember I mentioned earlier that they oftentimes have to let something go. When they're younger, a lot of times the only way they let go is when they have been crushed. They've hit rock bottom, and then finally they are forced to let go. But because you've got these spiders that can regrow their legs, regrow their forward momentum, these people always scrape themselves up and get going again. As they get older and become more mature, hopefully what's happening is that they don't have to have the legs completely kicked out from under them again. They learn the point at which it's like, okay, you know what, I guess it's time for me to let go now. I don't have to get all the way down to rock bottom. And they are able to release. And the beautiful thing about this, I know it seems strange to say, yes, there's beauty about rock bottom, but when you're able to pick yourself up and start going again after being down that far, there's an amazing amount of self-confidence and faith in oneself that is cultivated. So you just become stronger and stronger and stronger, and eventually you know you really can do whatever you want in this life, and that's the most powerful thought of all. Now, spiders have an interesting way of moving. I was really surprised to figure this out. When spiders move, they have mechanisms, muscles in their legs that pull their legs in. But to move their legs out requires hydraulic pressure. It requires a change in the spider's blood pressure. Now, metaphysically, blood represents joy. Somebody who's having a lot of heart attacks or heart trouble, there's insufficient joy in their lives. For spider people, what this means is that to move forward in life requires joy, requires that they follow their bliss. I'm sure you all know some people who can just kind of suppress their needs and make it through life. They may not be thrilled, but somehow things just kind of work for them. Spider people, that just doesn't happen. If you guys want to move forward, you gotta look for what makes you happy. Joy is expansive. It's creative. Following your bliss will bring you new things. Following fear will create limitation and stagnation. So for spider people, it is absolutely the truest thing ever that you are meant to follow what makes you happy. No matter what you think you deserve, no matter what your fears are, you're meant to follow what makes you happy. And spider blood is blue. Blue is the color that relates to our throat chakra. It relates to creativity and to our personal truth. And so for spider people, not only are you looking for moving forward in joy, but you're looking for creating your passion. You're looking for living your truth, expressing yourself. And this is where your greatest leaps are going to be. When you really connect with who you are and what you want, and you do what you do because you love it. That's where all the really big growth is going to happen. Spiders liquefy their food outside their body before taking it into themselves. I'll spare you the really fabulous details about how they do this. What this means is they can't digest solid food. And so for spider people, this association with liquid first off means these are people who can be easily overwhelmed, easily stressed out. They like details in the way that they need things to happen slowly and surely. The huge big picture will overwhelm them. They also, because of this association with liquid, can be very emotional. Now, they need, because they cannot digest solid food, spider people need to take things slowly. Even these big leaps of which they're capable of are built on a very solid foundation of taking things one step at a time. So I did an Aztec meditation that literally changed my life a few years ago, and I didn't realize what I was asking for. I thought the meditation was just looking for instant manifestation of everything that I really wanted, and I didn't realize that the words I was speaking were, universe, please help me to develop the talent to achieve my dreams. And so what had to happen was I had to go through all the trials and tribulations and pain that created a solid foundation for becoming what I wanted to become. I didn't just magically wake up one day and know how to do everything I needed to do. So for spider people, yes, you will achieve fabulous things, but you need to cultivate the talent to achieve that thing. You need to develop the self-confidence necessary to hold on to it. When we don't create a solid foundation, if we do achieve what we want, at the slightest test or trial, we lose that thing. It falls apart. I've had this happen in my own life several times. We have to have a solid base or we can't hold on. And so spider people, when you aren't getting what you want as fast as you think you want it, it's not that you're doing anything wrong, it's that you are going through the process of developing the skills you need, the foundation that you need. Now also on a physical level, because spiders can't break down solid food and they need to have liquids, spider people, your bodies are likely to be extremely sensitive to what you put in it. And eating the wrong foods will really mess you up. So if you notice that you're gaining weight you shouldn't be gaining, or if you are feeling really cranky or really tired, one of the first things you can do is start really asking yourself how you feel when you eat certain foods. Really start connecting to your body's wisdom. Our bodies will really tell us at every moment whether or not we should be putting something in our mouths. They will tell us when to stop eating, they will tell us when to start eating, and they will tell us whether or not the food that we're eating is good for us. And so spider people, if you're at all out of whack physically, take a look at your diet first and start seeing if you can listen to your body's cues. Now, spiders are venomous. They paralyze their prey so that they can suck out all those lovely little juices. And so right off, we have a predator totem. And anybody with a predator totem, everybody with a predator totem, one of the things they likely experience is because they have this just kind of underlying power. All predator totems have a certain power that they exude. It's more than a self-confidence. It is a refusal to be dominated, to have others change their beliefs. It is a knowing of what they want. And this scares other people, particularly people who don't know what they want or maybe have some big self-esteem issues. And so what often happens to somebody with a predator totem is that they will find others trying to just tear them down for what appears to be no apparent reason. So predator people, it's not that you've done anything wrong, it's that this power and kind of internal confidence you exude is hard for other people to take because it holds up a mirror to them of, it holds up their insecurities, their inadequacies. It makes these people feel like, well, geez, they can't have what they want. They would rather be victims, or they're too afraid to try. And so rather than try to move up to your level and become powerful and confident, what they'd rather do is just yank you down to theirs, because then they don't have to be confronted with the evidence of their inadequacies. So going back to the venom, spider people can inadvertently be toxic to others. And this can be for a variety of reasons. Possibly it's that they haven't quite developed the sufficient self-esteem that they need yet, and so they rely on other people to take care of them, to meet their needs. Or they dump all their toxic emotional garbage and struggles on someone else because they just don't know how to handle it themselves. They need help. Maybe they need somebody else to tell them that they're worthy and beautiful because they haven't cultivated the necessary faith in themselves yet. So sometimes spider people can be harmful for others, and it is up to them to notice when this is happening and start doing some work to develop their self-esteem. The other thing that can happen is that a spider person may be willfully try to control other people. And this happens when somebody, again, has weak self-esteem. Rather than trust that others will love them and support them because they are who they are and they're deserving, they feel like the only way to get their needs met is to manipulate others, to guilt trip them, to blackmail them, to undermine them, because again, they don't feel like their needs can be met in any other way. These are your classic bullies. So those of you out there who notice that you have to do this to other people, it's really important for you. Ask yourself why it is you don't feel like you deserve to have your needs met. Why do you feel like you have to control others? If you can answer that question, you're really on the way to really creating some beautiful change for yourself, really growing in wonderful ways, and creating more love than you thought possible. Now, right along with being venomous, keep in mind, spiders don't have to bite you. They only do it if they are trying to feed off something or if they feel threatened. And so most spider people really have no interest in hurting you. They don't want to attack you. But they will if you push them, if you threaten them. So those of you who deal with spider people, keep in mind, if you push them to the point where they have to defend themselves, the response is going to be swift, it is going to be vicious, and it's going to be painful. And there's likely no coming back from that. These people are not the most forgiving sorts. They don't forgive easily. And so if you push a spider person to the point where they're having to lash out at you like that, chances are you've kind of signed your death warrant on that relationship. They're probably not going to let you back in. And it's not that you have to walk on eggshells with a spider person, but it's that you need to be aware. There is a definitive line you should not cross. And if you've been paying attention, you can see where that line is. Now, lastly, spiders on the whole, when you look at the difference between the males and the females are often so much larger that there's a possibility of them mistaking the male of their species as prey. And most of the spider people I run into usually are women. If you are a spider man, there's a good chance that your life will include having to deal with feelings of having been dominated by or victimized by women. And it is important for you to come to the understanding that you are a powerful person. You are a person deserving of love, that none of this was your fault, where for some reason this experience needed to happen, and this is a beautiful opportunity for growth and forgiveness. For all spider people, this feminine energy creates some really amazing things, the first of which is, creativity. Creativity is a feminine energy. It creates tremendous intuitive capacity. Many spider people are very, very psychic. They especially have precognitive dreams. They are also very emotional. Spider energy is very emotional energy, and again, it's because of this tie to women. And if you are a spider woman, remember, you will be extremely powerful. What's very interesting about spider women is people like to attribute the term masculine to them. They're so powerful. They have this masculine energy. It isn't masculine energy. It is extremely potent feminine energy. And because that's not a concept that we readily accept, we slap the label masculine on it. But spider women, you are just extremely, extremely powerful ladies. Very, very talented, very capable. Now, my darlings, I hope this has answered all of your questions about what it means to be a very unique spider person. If not, as I mentioned earlier, feel free to contact me. I have clients all over the world, and I am more than happy to do a reading for you and speak with you about your particular spider and what that means for you. I'm very easy to find. You can get in touch with me via my website, which is www.ravenlightholistichealing.com. I maintain a blog on that page. You can get in touch with me via Facebook at Ravenlight Holistic Healing. You can reach me here on YouTube or through Google+. I'm everywhere, and I always welcome your comments and your inquiries. Cheers, my darlings, and have a wonderful day.